What's up, everybody? This is John Bush, and you are listening to the Dan Chan Show.
I am joined by Ahmed Saint, former Anthrax and now Category 7 vocalist, the legendary John Bush. An honor and a pleasure to have you on the show tonight, mate. How are you in LA?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks for having me. It should be a lot of fun. It's always cool to have a chat here, and we're excited to be talking about some new music and still coming to Europe here in 2019. This is the last time we played, so we're making up for some lost time to come to Europe here in the summertime with Ahmed Saint and talking about Category 7. There's a lot to discuss here.
Also, exactly. So let's not, I actually wrote this down in my questions and I actually started writing it, and then I didn't realize my quip. So this is not a quip when I said, let's not beat about the bush, but you're here to talk, you're here to talk about the new, what's being dubbed supergroup Category 7. When I saw saw who was in the band, the names kept coming at me like, oh my God, it's just incredible. How did it all start? What's going on?
Well, Phil Demmel and Mike Orlando were writing some ideas with Jason, I think, too. He came up with some, they were just kind of talking about music and came up with some ideas. And then they talked about perhaps putting a band together. And Mike and Phil sent me some ideas, asked me if I'd be interested. I said, let's hear it, because I don't know until I hear it. And then once I did, I was like, wow, there's some really good stuff here. There's some cool ideas. I said, I had like maybe three or four different musical ideas. And I said, let me see if I could, write to him and what I can bring to the table. And if it sounds cool and everybody is in agreement, then we'll take the next step. And that's what happened. So we wrote a couple songs. And I think the first one was In Stitches, which was the first video that we put out. It ends up being the first track on the record. Yeah. And it kind of set the tone of like, wow, this sounds pretty heavy and pretty ballsy, and it seems to be working. So let's keep working. And next thing we know, there's enough for a record. And so it's like, okay, let's put out a record. Why not? Nice. What are we going to do? Just sit around in our, in our basements and listen to these songs and go, that's great. Nobody can hear them, So you might as well out.
Let's get them out there. That's where we're at. I'm pleased you did. I've heard the album ahead of time, and it's exactly what I wanted to hear. It's really cool. And I believe, did you play hard to get a little bit before, you jumped into this? Because I'm sure a guy of your stature and caliber gets a lot of offers to join bands and projects. What made this stand out to you? What was different about it?
I really don't, actually. Maybe I should start wondering about that. No one's calling, but no, it's just circumstantial, I guess. But, it's funny you said that, because I was in my last interview, I alluded to maybe playing hard to get. There's always still the talk about you were asked to join Metallica. Yeah. And it's like, I know. Anyways, so it's, I don't think so. I think for me, it's just all about wanting to do something that I feel like A is quality, whatever that would be. And B is if I like it and if I can make it better, because there's probably plenty of stuff that's killer that I would not maybe embellish and make better, or maybe I would love it, but my heart's not into being part of the creative aspect. So I would say probably the key thing was timing. It was just so happened that they sent this to me at a time when I was like, okay, it sounds cool. Let me do it. So I think that's really, you can't minimize the importance of the timing of things. And I think that was the main thing. I also think that it was great stuff. It was great music. It was real powerful. But yet it had song structure. To me, it was important. So, it was like, let me see what I can do, and let me see if what I'm adding to it sounds good. I made a couple of demos in my house that sounded terrible because I'm just music. I mean, I can't do anything. I can barely work a remote. My wife yesterday, I'm like, she's always just taking charge of the remote, and she's like, you got hands there, man. You can do this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not trying to be lazy. I just think I'm just like, my typing, I'm just everything. I'm just, maybe that's, luckily I'm a good singer, because otherwise I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be on the streets, but, it's, yeah, again, I think it's bringing out the most of my own ability and adding to that. And if I can do something like that with music, I have another project. It's called Electric Spaghetti. It's like blues country Little Richard, and it's really cool. And ironically enough, I was writing for that at the same time I was writing for Category 7. And as a matter of fact, the guy who's the guitar player of that project was actually doing the demos for me because he has a studio. And I was like, dude, will you record me? Because I can't record myself.
Right.
And he's like, I'd be pleased to do that. So one day I would go to his house and we'd do an Electric Spaghetti song with him, and it was really fun. And then 2 days later, I go, okay, I have this Category 7 thing I want you to record. And and then he's like comes from a background of like rockabilly, you know, he's like totally not metal at all. And he would hear this stuff and go, dude, this stuff is so awesome. And I know. And so he was like the first guy hearing
endorsing it, giving you some flames.
And he was kind of producing me a little bit, and he was recording me. So he was hearing it before even the guys in the band were hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool to kind of do these. So next thing I knew, I was like writing all these songs and these two projects, which were vastly different, which I think was super helpful to me as a lyricist and a singer. So it was really, really fun. It was a cool time in my life. And,
so did you approach the writing and recording any different to anything you've done in the past? Did you approach it differently?
I mean, not really. It's you kind of just, do my thing. I don't want to overthink things too much, mainly because I just really can't. Just because I'm kind of a simpleton, because I am. So I just kind of do it, let it just kind of happen.
Yeah.
Of course you think about certain things. Hey, I could double this part, or I can add a harmony here, or, where am I going to put the, on the beat here or on the beat here? Yeah, but
sure.
Nothing different than any other way you kind of approach to writing songs.
I get you. So, I mean, are you excited for people to hear this when it's released in a few weeks?
I'm excited. It's weird when you make records and music. I've always said it's like having a kid. Like you have it, and then after a certain amount of years, you kind of have to release it. Like
because I'm as a recording artist myself, I've done similar things where you've done something and you keep it to yourself, and all of a sudden when you release it, that's it. It's out to everyone.
Exactly. You could love it and go, this is amazing, and love it. But then at some point you gotta like a turtle to the ocean. You gotta let it go.
Let it go.
And whatever. I think that's the important part of being a musician or an actor or whatever. Once you release your art,
that's the art. Yeah.
Then you let it go, and then you can have one person in the middle of Nebraska, this is garbage. And you're like, oh no.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, I think you're going to get strong reactions from this. And what have the reactions been so far to the lead single?
Yeah, everyone thinks it sounds really cool. So, I mean, you almost have to not care a little bit because otherwise you're just going to be impacted one way or another. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want people to like it, anybody who's like, I don't care, you're a liar. It's bullshit. Of course you care. Otherwise, why make it? So you care to some degree, but there's a part of you that has to be secure enough to go, I don't care. And because as long as you believe in it, as long as you think it's great, that's you're selling yourself mainly. Then you let it go and you hope for the best. And, without sounding woe is me, the music business has like pummeled me to the ground many, many times. So, I'm pretty resilient at this point, and, I don't really, nothing is going to hurt me that much. Sure. I was talking to the previous journalist I was doing an interview with, and we're laughing about, the power of social media and what people can say. You could have 20 comments that are favorable, and then that one will resonate that he thinks is crap. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And you really can't get too caught up in the 19. Yeah, you can't get too caught up in all the ones that are praising you, because then you're kind of losing your side of reality.
And I suppose, nowadays, compared to, say, how many years have you been in the industry? I mean, back in the day, shall we say, you'd only get a little magazine quip or something like that. And now you could release something and within hours, people are there, bang, bang, bang.
Everybody's a reporter.
Everyone's a reporter now. Exactly. Now,
all I say is, what I told the previous guy is, I don't really care if somebody bags on me, but you got to be funny. You got to,
Yeah. Yeah.
if somebody bags on me and it's funny, like then I'll kind of chuckle and go, okay, and say, you know, you got a good one there. But
Yeah.
like I read some comment recently, and the guy goes, he doesn't sound passionate. I'm like, listen, dude. Yeah, that's just not even true. Like the way I sing is passionate. You can bust my balls, you know, in so many ways, but saying that is just not even accurate. It's just not.
I know you're not. I know you're not tech savvy, John, but do your fingers hover over the keyboard when you feel like replying, or you're like, no, no?
I know. I just kind of move on. I don't really read too many comments as it is sometimes, but I think it could be destructive if you
Yeah,
do that too
sure,
much.
sure.
It's just whatever. If you like it, great. If you
Yeah.
don't, you don't have to listen to it.
Let's get
I
back
mean,
to the record. Let's get back to
yeah.
the record, John, because I was short of time. You all recorded remotely away from each other. How often have you been in the same room together since you've got something in the can? Do you get together very often, or have you not been in a room together at any time?
Well, we did the videos together. Actually, we've made 5 videos. We've done 2 of them.
Yeah,
I mean, 2 of them have been released.
yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of funny. We really haven't done anything together, to be honest. It's all been separate, and which is a little bit funny and different. But yeah, I think at this point, it's really we at some point we probably should get together and really
hang
jam.
out.
It really
Yeah,
is a camaraderie between the
yeah,
5 of
exactly.
us. But right now, it's just been mostly doing videos, which is
Yeah.
funny.
Because Phil Demo said that this is not a project and feels more like a band. Is that the sentiment with everyone? Does everyone feel the same?
Well, Phil's entitled to his opinion.
Of course,
Uh,
of course.
but yeah, I mean, I think that everybody's got other things going on, so
Mm,
you have to kind of associate it
of
somewhat as
course.
a side project.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's out Kerry King touring Europe right now, playing
Mm,
festivals. So, yeah, I don't think it diminishes the importance of it and the coolness of it. I think it just is what it is. Everybody's got all these other things going on, and the truth of the matter is, nobody's going to be leaving their bands because
no,
why would they?
of
You know,
course,
so
of course. And thinking of that, I mean, who came up with the name Category 7? Because I think it's an Americanism, this, and it's a weather thing. Like, it's the highest wind storm, isn't it? Category 7. Have you ever
yeah,
been in a Cat 7 storm, John?
I have not. I have not. I haven't been in any hurricanes, luckily for me, because I'm sure they can be quite terrifying and they're super destructive, especially if you see what happened in Katrina and New
Yeah,
Orleans a few years back. That was terrible. So, you know, weather seems to be getting a little bit more erratic as time goes on. And
yeah,
you know, I live in LA, which is known for
yeah.
earthquakes.
That's
And
right.
so, you know, you can go a long time without one, but once one big one hits, man,
It's
it's pretty
devastating.
scary.
Who came up with the band name?
I think it was Orlando. I'm not really sure. It was one point where people were just throwing out tons of names. I
Right.
thought it was pretty cool. I didn't want to overthink it too much. It sounded powerful,
Yeah.
and that was good enough for me.
So you've been writing some of the lyrics. Did you write all the lyrics on the album, John?
I wrote most of the lyrics and not all. Yeah, I think so.
So what's the content? What's the message, if any? What are you getting out there? I know you said a lot of it is subjective and it's down to the listener to, you know, trying to like transcribe in their heads what they feel about the track. But what are you writing about?
Yeah, you know, just every day you kind of wake up and you can see what's happening in the world and how everything is affecting individuals, whether it's political circumstances or the world of social media or you name it. You know, people's
Sure.
mental health. There's a lot of things to talk about really out there. In the world today and the way people see things and with this new generation being kind of raised on the digital world and the power of this and stuff,
Yeah.
there's just a lot to talk about.
Mm.
Today is the presidential debate in America, so that should be quite amusing. I'm going to look at it as you know, kind of watching comedy to some degree.
The world's
You know,
watching, John. The world's
the world
watching,
is
man.
watching, man. Those guys better be on their game because the world is watching.
We're all
So,
nervous. We're all nervous.
oh,
And that leads me to I'm really interested in one particular track. And you said that you know, you want the listener to listen to it and think about things. And when I listened to the track, The Land I Used to Love, is that a swing at the state of the US political field? Or is it anything to do with the US?
well, of course it does, but you know, but it's not limited to the U.S. because a lot of
Of
people
course.
are struggling with being kind of polarized everywhere throughout Europe. I mean, there was a whole new election that just took place that, a lot of people gained a lot of ground in the political spectrum that are pretty off to the right. It's happening in South America. Sure, it's Australia. And it's something that everybody's kind of trying to contend with. I think the biggest problem that I have with it all, and again, I'm not that political savvy, so let me state that for the record, but, I think the biggest problem is the separation. And I think that just doesn't get things accomplished. So that's the problem. It's where we have a lot of people who are dead set to believe in their theories and their agenda, and who are unwilling to really kind of work. And I think that to help society, you kind of need to meet in the middle. Let's just take a band for an example. If three guys in the band are dead set in this thought process, and two are dead set in this other opposing thought process, how are you going to make that work? How are you going to come to terms with that? Or take a sports team. I love sports, so I always use that kind of comparison. The same with music. If you have different philosophies and nobody's willing to meet in the middle to try to work together, how effective is that team going to be? So everybody's got to work together, even if you don't have the same views. Try to find some way to do that. But that's not the problem. I mean, that's not the case right now. You have real strong head perspectives, and people don't really want to work together. And the bottom line, I think that's just not good for society. It's just not.
I understand. I totally understand.
But it's great for lyrics.
Of course. Yeah, it's a feeder. It's a feeder for sure. Now, I'm sure the stars are going to have to really align for this to happen and get a sniff of this happening. But is there any chance that this may hit the road, Category 7?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to play some shows. Obviously, it'd be weird to not play anything. It's just a matter of trying to make it fly with everybody's schedule. That's the key component here. We'll see how we can make it work with everybody's busy lifestyles. And if we can do that, I think it'll be real fun. I think that it'll be exciting if once we do actually perform together. I don't know when that will be.
Yeah.
I think I'm not trying to make it overly exciting by keeping everybody a mystery mentality about it. But I do think when we do finally play, it should feel like an exciting moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you imagined it already? Have you thought the songs you go live well and blah, blah, blah?
Somebody was just asking me that, and the answer is no, really. For one, we only have 10 songs that are on this record. So performing live, depending on whether you're a support act or if you're a headlining group, that'll determine how many songs you're going to play, how long you're going to play. So we'll have to figure all that out based on it. But I think the impact of I personally would rather go out and do a couple of festivals or do support spot, because we only have one record. So I don't know, to go out and play like 15 songs, you're going to have to figure out what songs to play in addition to the record. And we could do that. Obviously people have suggested other songs from everybody's catalog, which we could do that. But I don't know. I'd rather just kind of come out with a 45, 50-minute set and just people.
Now, I've got to ask you this, and one leg up came from the band a few weeks ago, I think it was, when James Hetfield said on the Metallica report, he noticed the music, how cool this new band was, and he recognized the voice, and it obviously gave you a big leg up, I suppose, for getting the band's name out there, which is always a help. Do these endorsements mean a lot to you guys? I mean, does it matter anymore, or, what's the opinion of that? Because that was great to get you on the front pages of the metal press and stuff, that online, etc.
Well, it matters when you're James Hetfield. I mean, he's the king. So I mean, everybody has their opinion, and that's fine one way or another, but it's still James. And so you can't deny the power of James Hetfield, and the biggest fan in the world of heavy metal, Metallica. So, it was very, very nice of James, and it seemed very sincere, and that's all you really kind of want. So, can you say, I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. And, again, it's James. So it does matter when it's James.
Yeah. I mean, James said he likes your new music. Do you like his new music?
Look, Metallica to me is I've said this for a while now when I've done interviews. To me, Metallica is the band that never rests on their laurels of what they've done. They're always taking chances. They're always doing different things. They're always expanding on their style and and pushing the boundaries of the listeners. Whether it's doing the orchestra stuff or doing a record with Lou Reed or making just a metal powerful thrashing record. The live performances, I went to see him at SoFi, and it was the stadium here, and it was phenomenal. It was really cool how they have these 4 different sections.
I'm seeing them in 2 weeks in Madrid.
I'm going to Madrid in 2 weeks.
But yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the images. Yeah,
but it's cool because they actually took this arena, and yet when they were all together playing, it felt like you were almost watching them in some small room.
Right.
It was really amazing. So, I always, when you're a band like Metallica, you're kind of everybody, the expectations are so grand all the time. And like the reality is you're not always going to hit the bullseye on everything, especially if you're willing to take chances, which they are. And I really commend that because, it would be easy to just kind of play it safe, and they never do. So I really respect them and on that level. And, when I heard Lexi, turn up.
Yeah.
It sounded rad. It just sounded like them. It was really powerful and it's a great tune. And I was like, wow, it's cool. And it just sounds fresh, when they make new material. And James is one heck of a singer, he's just an awesome vocalist. And so, I mean, what are you going to do? They're Metallica.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, do you ever think what if, or is that thought process sailed?
No. It never really was with me because it just was such a, one, it was so long ago. I was a kid, and what I always tell people is that Armored Saint was this young band kind of developing too at the same time. Yeah, maybe Metallica was a little ahead or who knows, but we were happy to be doing what we're doing. I was happy with my band. We had grown up with each other even at that point when we were all 18, 19 years old. We still had a 10-year friendship at that point because we met each other when we were all 9 years old. So we had already established a strong friendship at that point. It just, what I've said recently, and to me, this kind of summarizes it even better. I can't imagine James Hetfield not being the voice of a metal band, whatever metal band.
I know.
So like if you put John Bush there or somebody else,
yeah, I know you're saying
that takes James out, and how would heavy metal exist without James?
Of course, man.
Frontman of a band.
Totally agree. And I know we're short of time, so one more thing. Armored Saint have released a brand new single only a week ago or so. A cover of One Chain, Don't Make No Prison. A cover that's been covered a few times. Why this track and what's going on? Let's talk about some Armored Saint stuff now. You've got the European tour, etc., etc. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's real cool. We're all wearing suits, which we look kind of dapper. It was real neat. And, I think Joey had the idea of doing something that felt like it was different and sounded like, something that would work in the nature of our style with, kind of growing up on R&B music. We really did. And that's something we listened to a lot as a kid. Even when we were listening to Kiss Live, we were cranking up Earth, Wind and Fire at the same time. So, we've always listened to that kind of music, and and so doing something that was kind of old school soul and R&B, it was actually felt like it was right in the wheelhouse of our style. So it was an idea of Joey's, and so kind of is an area for me as a singer that it feels real natural to kind of go there and have some fun with it. And it was cool. It was fun to do that.
So new music, new Armored Saint music, new tours. Tell me.
Yeah, we're doing this 4-week run in Europe, which will be cool because we haven't been there since 19 pre-COVID. And
so when does that start? When's that?
The end of July, about a month from now.
Yeah.
So we still got some work to do as far as prepping for that, and that's what I'm doing. And in between the 8 interviews that I'm doing today, and we're also writing, and I got to get back to doing that. And sometimes Armored Saint doesn't move too quickly when it comes to writing, as everyone's kind of seen. Sure. But I do want to create a little urgency without sacrificing some quality, because we do want to get a record out next year. So we're working on that at the same time. So a lot going on.
Awesome, man. Finally, last question. I know you're not too tech savvy, but what's the most used what's the most used emoji in John Bush's phone?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably a couple of them, the guy who's hitting his head on the face.
Oh,
And,
like, can't believe it.
yeah, exactly. That applies to so many things. Maybe the middle finger, and that also would apply a lot of the
Love
times
it.
too.
I love it, man.
Emojis.
I
I
love it,
do.
man.
I think emojis. When somebody says they don't like emojis, it's like, what?
No, come
Yeah, I
on.
kind of think
A picture speaks a 1,000 words, John. You know what I mean? Right, that's it. That's it.
I mean, I love it. It's fun.
John, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you this evening. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great summer there in Barcelona, and thanks for all the support.